Good evening, beautiful, blessed beings of love and light. Natasha Monique here, High Priestess of the Sacred Alchemy School for the Modern Witch. If you are still questioning what Sacred Alchemy is, check out my video from the last evening, yesterday evening, the 10th. That evening guidance was all about what Sacred Alchemy is. So today, to follow up on that, what's up, Robin? I am going to talk about what is a witch. Yes, because I know you guys hear me talk about that all the time. Hey, Christine, that is how I identify my spirituality. And a lot of people get turned off by the term witch. They just get completely turned off by it and automatically assume that I worship the devil. No, all right, witches don't worship Satan. Hey, Erica, that's not what it is. Satanists worship Satan, witches do not. So let's get into your lesson for today, and hopefully by the end of this video you will be a little more educated about what it means and what it is to be a witch. And you may just discover the witch in you, the little witchiness that dwells inside of you. So basic definition of what a witch is: it's a person who is either a man or a woman. Okay, witches aren't just females. All right, witches can be males as well, who's really connected to their spiritual self and the spirituality, the heartbeat, the rhythm, the breath of the cosmos and the earth. That's where that saying, as above, so below, comes in, because we are connected to the universe, the sun, the moon, the planets, the stars, everything above us, and the earth and everything that's on the earth, and that understanding that everything on the earth has a spirit, has a life force within it. We're able to connect our life force to those life forces as well. What's up, Monique? That's basically the basic definition of what a witch is. It's someone who is just that connection, that above and below connection. Now we're in tune with the earth, the cosmos, the water, the trees, the waves, the wind, the rocks, crystals, understanding that everything has a vibration and we can tap into that vibration. There are several different kinds of witches, okay? So many different kinds of witches. You can be a light witch, a dark witch, a healing witch, a nature witch, an elemental witch. You can even break down the elements of it. You can be an earth, air, fire, or water witch. There's just so many different kinds. So you may ask, well, how do you know what kind you are? That's based on your intuition and your basic human behaviors. Like, what are you drawn to? All right, now I personally, I'm a healing witch. I've always been that one. Even when I was younger, friends of mine, people have issues going on in their life, they come to me for advice, for help, for healing, so to speak. How do I fix this? When they're feeling down, feeling bad, they come to me. I help them out, I heal them, they keep it pushing. I am just a natural healing witch. That's actually in my lineage. What's up, Toy? Now, I am also very connected to nature. Like, I love trees. I love trees. My favorite natural spot is this one beach in New Jersey where there's woods, and the woods just go right out to the ocean. Like, you can walk through the wooded trail, and then when the wooded trail comes out, it's just boom, beach in the ocean. Hey, Waltree. So I'm very connected to nature. So in that sense, I am a nature witch because I do love the trees, the plants, the animals, all that. And I also love the ocean. Like, oh, I love all water, all bodies of water. I do. I do love the fresh water too, but there's something about the ocean that oh, blessings to you too, Audrey. There's something about the ocean that just speaks to my soul. Like, I love the ocean, and I was born in the right place, born and raised in New Jersey. The majority of the state is surrounded by ocean. I'm the type that in the summertime, I'd be at the shore, at one of our very many shores, 10, 12, 15 times in the summer, just popping down there real quick to just dip my toes in, float in the water, even when it was cold out, just to go there and just hear the waves, smell the salt air, have my feet in the sand. I would still dip my toes in. It's 45 degrees outside, and I'm that nut job with my sweatpants up and my coat on with my feet in the freezing cold water, because I just love that connection to the water. Even though I am a fire, sun, and rising sign, I love the water. I love the ocean. So I am what's considered a healing light witch. Okay. That light witch component is because I use my magic for good, for uplifting, for healing. All right. That's what I use it for. My magic is for healing. That's the purpose of my magic. And I use nature and positive energies to assist with that healing. And of course, I have notes. I always have notes with my videos. Hey, what's up, Amanda? Because I want to make sure that I don't miss anything that I want to say. All right, I got that. So now use your intuition to figure out what type of witch you are. And that is, what do you like to do? All right, do you have a green thumb? Do you like to go out and garden and be in nature? Then you are most likely a nature witch. Do you like to help people and heal them? You're most likely a healing witch. If you are love the purification of fire and how fire purifies you and all that good thing. PG, if you would like a personal reading, email me at tarot.tosh.balance@gmail.com. If you love fire and the purification aspects of fire, you may very well be a fire witch. Like, you know what I mean? Just what things, what are you attracted most to? That's the type of witch that you are. Now, a witch, the beauty of being a witch is that we don't really follow any rules. We follow the beat of our own drum. Our commandments and rule book, so to speak, it can be summed up in two words: harm none. Now, you'll see this phrase in a lot of different verbiages. Like one of the oldest ones is do what ye will, least ye harm none. The whole premise of it is harm none. All right, that first bit is do whatever you want. That's that rebel that is a witch. You can do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anybody. You don't follow a specific text. There's not like one witch's Bible that you have to follow and with a set of rules of what's the right way in which to practice, because it is a practice and it's your own practice. The beauty of being a witch is that we create our own spiritual text. It's called our grimoire or book of shadows. Both are basically the same. Okay, a grimoire or book of shadows is basically the same, and it's a collection of all of your spells, your rituals, your knowledge, your experience, all of those things that you put down in a text for yourself to use as reference throughout your practice, and that you very well can bestow onto someone after your physical body is no longer able to house your spiritual self. You can very well take your grimoire or book of shadows with you when you pass over, or you can bestow it onto someone else. It's completely up to you. There are some witches who belong to covens, of course. You can be a witch who's in a coven, or you can be like myself. I'm a solitary witch. In some covens, the high priestess of the coven will require that everyone read and memorize her book of shadows, her grimoire, and know the spells that are in there. That's perfectly acceptable if you want to learn from that person and then use that person's messages, rituals, and spells, tweak it a little bit for your own spiritual text. Like, that is, to me, the most amazing bit about being a witch, is that it is an ongoing practice for your entire life, and you get to create your own spiritual text. So you're not going by, is this written in the sacred text? If it's not, then you can't do it, because there's no such thing as like an ancient secret text of witches where we all have to follow these rules. No. Only rule is harm none. Do whatever you want, but harm none. That's like the most important bit of being a witch, because this is why the harm you do to others, if you purposefully and with intent use your magic to harm other people, that shit comes back to you tenfold. Okay? It comes all the way back to you. Think of that movie, The Craft. All right? And they were having fun, kikiing and ha-ha, and making old girl's hair fall off and all this wonderful stuff. And then what happened? Came right back to them, because they were using their magic for malice, for bad purposes. Now, are there dark witches out there? Are there witches who want to cause harm? Of course. Of course there are, because as human beings, we all have that decision, that free will, where we can use our gifts for either good or evil. It's up to us. But when you use your gifts for evil, be prepared for the consequences. Just like when you use your gifts for good, be prepared for the consequences. The consequences for good come back to you in a good way tenfold, just like the consequences for evil come back to you evil in tenfold. That's what it happens. That's just what it is. What's up, Kay? So now, back to your grimoire and your book of shadows, containing all of your spells, your knowledge, your wisdom, your experiences, how you have grown as a witch throughout your life. You write that all down in your book of shadows. Your book of shadows is most likely not complete until just around about your death, because as a witch, you're always learning, always. And you just know that your work is never really done. Like there's always knowledge to obtain. There's so many herbs out there that you can learn about, so many crystals out there that you can learn about, so many different rituals, spells, goddesses, all of those things that you can learn about, and you write them all down in your grimoire. All right, so now in this grimoire or book of shadows, we have our spells. Okay, I did a whole video about spells when we were talking about magic. All right, my 5 series of my 5 days of magic. And spells are basically, we create them and say them and use them to manifest a certain outcome for our benefit or to enhance something within ourselves. Now, a bit about spells. There are certain spells out there that I just do not condone, all right? There's one that I know that is tried and true. I absolutely know it works. I absolutely do. I don't share it. I don't use it. I don't do it. It was given to me by my grandmother. My grandmother was gypsy. And so she practiced a lot, and she did give me a lot of spells when I was younger. And I didn't realize that they were spells that she was telling me, because I was young, like 8, 9, 10, when she was telling me stuff like this. So I didn't know what it was. I called them all old wives' tales. Like that's what I called them. Like, okay, that's just little weird stuff my gypsy grandmom does. But to make someone fall in love with you. Oh, excuse me. I needed that. That water cleared all that up for me. I do not condone doing spells to make someone fall in love with you. Love is supposed to be organic. And now, if you do a spell to make someone fall in love with you, what if 2 years down the road you find out you don't really love this person? Now you've got this spell on them and you have to do all this work to try to reverse the spell. And in either way, it's like it's just not authentic. It's not authentic love. The love spells that I will assist with is, how can you love yourself more, and how can you open yourself up to be susceptible to love? Okay, those are the type of love spells that I deem permissible. Now that's just me. That's just me in my own witch mind. You, in your own course of action, you do whatever it is you want to do, as long as you are harming none. Okay, keep that premise in mind. Keep that premise all the way in mind. Now with these spells, there are tools, of course, that we use to help enhance. Exactly, Robin. That's exactly what I meant by that. Like, then you can't get rid of them. Like, you now you're stuck with this person, and you have to put in all this other work and energy to try to banish them, try to get them to forget about you, this, that, and the third, and all that. And like, that's just a whole mess of nothing. Just let love happen organically. And if you want to find love, I have a very excellent spell that I used myself, and it worked a little bit too good. All right. It worked a little bit too well. I had to fall back a little bit, where you really just open yourself up to receive love, open yourself up to show all the love that you have inside of your heart, and then attract that to you. Now, with this spell, don't be surprised if you got 3, 4, 5 suitors knocking at your door, because you're just full of love, and that's what you're exuding out into the universe, and that's what's coming back to you. But then, hey, you get choices. You get to see what's hitting with everyone and how that goes, and get to pick and choose of what's going on. But yeah, opening yourself up to love, great. That's wonderful. Enhancing your own self-love, yes, that's wonderful. Doing a spell for someone to fall in love with you, not good. Now, certain tools that we use as witches to enhance our spell work are things like wands. Okay, I actually have a few wands. One is a beautiful selenite wand. I have a handmade wand that someone gave me. My first wand was actually store-bought. That's more for like aesthetic purposes. I really don't use that for magic. It's just nostalgic for me in my little first box of my witch's box of tools that I purchased way, way back when, like maybe 15, 20 years ago. And then I have a handmade one that I made myself from one of my favorite parks in New Jersey. A stick that I got from there, and just fashioned a wand out of it. So wands are actually good. Crystals help us to enhance our spells. Herbs, you'll see witches use a lot of herbs, oils, incense, things like that. They're just, those are the tools that we use. And a lot of people think when they think of a witch, they think that we're just doing these dark and mysterious things and using like eye of newt and wing of bat and no, honey, no, we're not. We're not using that. Where the hell am I getting an eye of newt from? Like, where am I getting that from? Where I'm in North Carolina, freaking newts out here. Where am I getting an eye of newt? Where am I getting a wing of bat? First of all, I don't want to touch a bat. Like, I'm cool with them. I love them. I respect them as the sacred creatures that they are. But I'll be damned if you find me catching a bat and ripping its wings off. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, that's just not going to happen. The things that we do use are rose petals, lavender, dried chamomile, things like that. Like, those are the types of things that we use in our spell making. Crystals, copper, like a copper bowl, a singing bowl. Just glancing over at my altar, feathers. Okay, I have a lot of feathers over there. Like, things like that are really things that we use. We're not using all of this bibbity bobbity boo stuff that you see on the movies. Like, that's just not happening. Dirt. Okay, dirt is an excellent thing to use. Like, okay, to enhance prosperity. All right, you can collect dirt from the lot of a prosperous business, like, okay, like say like a Walmart or something. I don't Walmart was the first one that came to my mind, but really I'm really not, I can't. Ain't that a frog? A newt is not a frog. No, they're two completely different species. They're two completely different animals. A newt is like a little lizard. Okay, so like you can get from a prosperous business like a Barnes and Nobles or something like that, or Joseph A. Banks. You go around, if there's dirt around their property, just collect a jar of dirt from a prosperous business or even a rich person, okay, and put that up on your altar. All right, something like that. If you want to keep the law away from you, first of all, don't break the law. That's first and foremost. But if you just so happen to get into a pinch and want to keep the law away from you, you collect dirt from the police station, surround your home with it, and some sea salts, and that'll keep the law from like banging down your door. Things like that. Dirt, earth is very powerful, and taking dirt and earth from certain places, you can help use that to enhance things like prosperity, wellness, um, keeping the law away from you, things like that. All right, where we're not using these exotic ingredients that people think we're using. We are also, see, look at that. When she was, Robin says, when I was trying to buy my house, I used the dirt from the house that I wanted. That's my whole point. That's an excellent example. Like, that's such a good example right there, Robin. Like, you take the dirt from what you want to embody and just collect it in a nice little jar. That's all you have to do. Collect it in a little jar and place it on your altar. That's it. That's all you got to do with that. Rituals also can enhance a spell. Like, a spell does not have to be, okay, when people think of spells, they think of, when we're casting spells, that it's like we've got all this stuff out and we're doing all this stuff and we have to be in a robe and hood on and all this, and there's chanting, and no, you don't need all of that. A spell is basically words. Okay, like spelling is words. That's all a spell is. You write those words out and you say them. If you choose to light a candle with it, go ahead and light a candle with it, preferably one whose color corresponds with what you'd like to do. If you don't have colored candles, a white candle works great, because white is the combination of all of those colors. So like, you can use a white candle and you just write it out. Preferably make it rhyme. Okay, I know that sounds weird, but I found that spells that rhyme, actually it's the melody of the rhyming. It's putting that your voice into that melodic type of tone, because music and sounds and tones are very magical. It actually does enhance the spell. So try to make your spells rhyme when you do them. You don't even have to have it memorized. You write it out, get yourself centered in a nice clean space, like an internal clean space. Open your heart. Make sure your heart is open. Your intentions are pure. Set your intentions. Sit yourself down and recite your spell. Recite it and let it go. Let it go to the universe and watch it manifest. That's basically all you have to do. Now, you can add, if you want to, certain things, like there are certain spells that I use. Well, I'll use a particular color candle and certain curicos. Curicos are just little trinkets to use things with, like our coins, feathers, um, herbs, petals, different flowers, things like that. Like that, that's what curicos are, and they can help to enhance the spell work. But really, you just need yourself, a pen and paper, your heart open, and good intentions. Write your spell out and recite it, and poof, there it is. There's your spell. You've got it. It doesn't have to be some big, huge, complicated thing. It really doesn't. Rituals. I love rituals. Rituals and spells are very similar, but rituals, like whereas a spell, you can just read your spell off the piece of paper and keep it moving, a ritual actually requires you to do something. All right, to do something, some type of movement, some type of action on your part, be that with lighting a candle, lighting a particular incense. The most famous and most common rituals are those that are with the moon rituals with the full moon and the new moon, sun rituals with the solstices and the equinoxes, and rituals to honor a particular deity. That's what I'm talking about right now, okay? You jumped 2 seconds ahead of me. I was about to say that. Like a ritual to honor a particular goddess, all right? Like for Oshun, which we discussed Oshun, I think it was like a couple weeks ago. I did a video on Oshun. Like to, if you would like Oshun to help you with prosperity, all right? You can use a white or yellow candle, a statue of Oshun, use a white plate, put 5 oranges around it, drizzle some honey, some cinnamon, light your candle, open your heart, devote yourself, your love to Oshun, and ask her, please help me with prosperity. Let that candle stay lit for 5 days, and boom, that's the ritual. The ritual is actually placing the oranges, the candle in the middle, the statue on the side, drizzling the honey around, sprinkling the cinnamon around, lighting the candle. That's your ritual right there. We can also do rituals for the Wheel of the Year. For like we just had Emulge, our next one is Ostara. There's so many rituals that can be done to pay homage to, so do I love Oshun. There's so many rituals that can be done to pay homage to the Wheel of the Year. There are also rituals that can be done to pay homage to goddesses that correspond with the Wheel of the Year. Like when we're talking about Emulge, I had that simple ritual where you can take that a green or a white candle, one of those that are encased in glass, the tall ones, they're like prayer candles. Place that outside with your favorite scarf around it, light it, hey Anna, and leave it outside during the night of Emulge so that she can come and bless that scarf for you. And then as you wear that scarf, you have that embedded energy of Bridget right there with you, that fiery energy to enable you to take care of your home, build and manifest, be creative, things like that. So there are definitely things that you can do to pay homage to goddesses. You can create an altar. A witch's altar is very important. I do not recommend you having a particular altar for a particular purpose in your bedroom, especially if you're getting busy in that bedroom. It's like you don't want to get busy in front of the goddesses unless it's one of the get busy goddesses. Like, okay, unless like, Aphrodite, like if you want an Aphrodite altar in your room, but keep it in a space where you can see it regularly, but it's not like, and never in the bathroom. Okay, don't do an altar in the bathroom. Like just don't do that. That's just that's not a good place to place an altars in your bathroom. A living room, something like that, your kitchen, things like that. Your altar can be as simple as having a representation of earth, air, fire, and water, and boom, you're done. Like I mentioned that before in our 5 days of magic, with just taking the shot glasses, filling one shot glass with water, keeping one empty, having one have an incense in it or a candle in it that you light, and one just with some earth in it, or maybe just pop a crystal in it. And that's your earth, air, fire, water altar. Like that's what it is. You can also have more elaborate altars. Like my altar I have a crystal grid on it. I've got my incense holder. I have a little copper bowl that I keep water in. I have a Himalayan salt lamp that I use to like you can put candles in it. So like mine isn't like one of those electric ones. I could put one of those little electric tea light candles, but I prefer to use live candles in mine. I can put a candle in that. I have a singing bowl up there. I have a clear quartz and amethyst and selenite. I've got my selenite wand up there. I have a stick like a little, it's a little stick triangle that I made. Like, I don't even have a name for it. I was just guided to make it, and I make it and I keep it on my altar. I have a bunch of feathers, just things that I embody, like just things that I embody. That's what I keep on my altar. We're talking about altars now, Toy. I don't know when exactly you walked away, so I don't know exactly how much you missed, but we're now talking about your altar. Your altar can be switched up to go in accordance with what's going on in the universe. Like, okay, you can have a full moon altar, then switch it up for the new moon. You can have an Emulge altar, then switch it up for Ostara. You can have, like, at this period in your life, you need to embody luck. Okay, you need some prosperity and some luck in your life. You can have a Lakshmi altar. You can have, if you want some more love in your life, you can have an Aphrodite altar. Like, and you can switch it up in accordance to what's going on in the universe and what's going on with yourself. It doesn't have to be a permanent altar. If you would like some like permanent energy in your space, like how I said, it's not good to have an altar in your room. It is good to have crystals in your room, though. Like, the bed that I'm sleeping in now, I am unable to do this, but my other bed, it was raised a bit. Yeah, I've seen your ulcer, Monique. I've seen it. I've seen pictures of it, and it's gorgeous. I love it. And see, when I saw it, I'm like, look at how pretty her altar is. And look at that. You didn't even know that's what it was. That's your instincts kicking in and letting you know this is what you need to do. But like taking crystals and making crystal grids underneath of your bed, like if you're having trouble sleeping, there's certain crystals you can put under your bed, or if you want to be more romantic in your bedroom, there's crystals you can put under your bed, by your bedside, on your dresser, things like that, making crystal grids on your dressers and keeping those in your room, that's perfectly cool. That's absolutely acceptable. Same thing in your kitchen. If you want to make sure you have like a happy home, a peaceful home, that, there's blessings all throughout your house. There's little herb sachets that you can make and tack up in front of your doll. Yes, an altar in your garage is perfectly fine. Yeah, yes, Walter, you don't want it by the kids who are going to be poking at it and touching it and moving stuff and playing with stuff on your altar. So having one in your garage is perfectly fine. Yeah, that's great. That's a good place to have them. Even if you have a little space outside, like if I don't know, if some of you live in warmer climates and you have like a porched in sunroof or something, or even having something outside, perfectly fine. Absolutely perfectly fine on a balcony, things like that. Yes. Monique, I'm constantly telling my kids not to touch it. Yeah, my apartment in Jersey, when my nieces and stuff would come over, they would run to my living room altar. That's like the first thing they did. I'm like, don't, just leave it be. Don't touch it. Just go away from it. Just look and don't touch. Like, stay away from auntie's things. Like, don't touch my stuff. So yeah, so building your altar is very personal. Hey, Samantha, it is very personal based on what you want to pay homage to, and if you just want it for your own personal growth and development, just for your own space, a quiet space for you to sit and meditate with and connect with those items that are on your altar, and to help enhance your own witchiness in you, your own spiritual self. Now, witches know their power and worth. We know without knowing how or why we should know. That's why, Monique, you were guided to make an altar, not even knowing what you were doing or why you were doing it. That is the innate witch in you letting you know, yeah, do this. This is what you need to do. So go ahead and do it. That's how it works. Your intuition. Yeah, you did, boo boo, but that's why there's a replay. Like, your intuition plays a big part in the kind of witch that you are, all right? You don't also need to practice daily to be a witch, all right? You really just need to live by the creed to harm none, and you don't have to be someone who's super devoted in every single moon, every single turn of the wheel, every single when the planet goes direct, or da, da, da. Like, you have to. Okay, heard that. Understand that, Robin. Yeah, I do understand that. I completely do understand that. But yeah, you don't have to practice every single day to be a witch. You practice when you're guided. Because another beautiful thing about being a witch is that we are very connected with our guides. We're very connected with spirit, our spiritual selves, the spirits of the universe. We're all connected with that, the spirit of the earth, all of that. So we're guided to practice when we're guided to practice. That's just what happens there. And the tools that we use go by our guidance as well. Like I am guided to use tarot cards. I use tarot. I even use tarot in my spell work. Like for certain moon rituals, I will pull out. I have several decks, so I'll pull out 4 different moon cards. If I need help with like my self-confidence, I'll pull out a star card and do a spell with the star card. If I need to be bold and show my roar, be strong, I'll pull out the strength card. Okay, I definitely do use tarot cards, not just for doing readings, but in my spell work as well. Perfectly viable tool to use. Some witches divinate with runes or shells or bones or things like that, or even in the sand. All of that is perfectly acceptable. It all goes in what resonates with you. That's another beautiful aspect of being a witch, is what resonates with you. You're not being told what you have to do. Like you have to work with tarot cards to be a witch. No, you don't. You have to work with bones to be a witch. No, you don't. You have to do this to be a witch. No, you don't. You do whatever feels good to you as long as you're harming none. You do whatever resonates with you and lights your soul on fire, lights it up. All right, that's what you do. Whatever resonates with you. Witches also know that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And with that being said, we have to take care of this physical form. We have to take care of our brains. We have to take care of our bodies. We have to take care of our emotions. And we have to make sure that we are, even if we're not practicing every day, we're doing something to connect ourselves spiritually. Even if that's something as simple as just a mantra, gratitude, something like that, our spiritual self, a meditation, prayer, whatever it is, that just opens our spiritual self up. We know that this body is the only body that we have to do this human experience in. So therefore, we have to treat it with love and respect. That's just what we have to do. Okay, yeah, because we understand that we are sacred. We are sacred beings. What's up, Crystal? So I'm going to give a couple of minutes for anyone who has any questions. If anyone has any questions, now's the time to pop any questions in about what I was saying, or any questions about your own self and your own spiritual journey and how to really encompass what type of witch you are. You can just go ahead and pop those questions there. So I'll wait a second. I have not heard that, Kay. She's saying that, you have to declare yourself, your name, when you become a witch, I guess, to the universe. Is this correct? I have not heard that, and I have personally never declared myself, so to speak, as a witch. Like, I guess my declaration of it was getting out of the closet, so to speak, and like telling other people. There was a period in my life where I was very closeted with the fact that I'm a witch, because I was afraid of what people would think of me, their reaction when I told them, yeah, I'm a witch. Like, oh. Now I just don't give a fuck. Like, I really don't care anymore. You can think of me whatever you want to think of me, because that's what I am. I am a witch. So I don't know if you have to declare that, because if you're a solitary witch and you're not doing work for other people, like I do work for other people, not just myself. So I do like that disclosure to let people know, like, yeah, I am a practicing witch, just so you're aware, because I don't want it to be a shock to someone and then someone think that I've deceived them or that I'm evil in some way, shape, or form. So I mean, I don't think it's necessary for you to declare yourself to the universe as a witch, because we are the universe and we're connected to the universe. So if you know it in your heart, then the universe already knows. And the term sorcerer, yes, is still used. The term sorcerer, wizard, mage, all of those terms are still used. And they're kind of synonymous for the same thing. All right, a sorcerer is basically a witch, most likely a male witch. So I know some males do not like to be called a witch. They'd rather be called wizards. We'd rather be called warlocks, things like that. But yeah, sorcerers can be used. And yes, you can see the wands. I'll be right back. Let me go grab them. And oh man, just grabbing it up, I broke a little piece off my wand. Samantha, that is for you to determine. It is not for me to tell you what type of witch you are. That's your intuition will let you know what type of witch you are. And I talked about that in the very beginning, that it really is what you are drawn to do. So yeah, I can't tell you what type of witch you are. You would know that. So my wands. Here is my selenite wand. Okay, this I purchased from the Willow Tree shop. Beautiful. That is my stepdad calling me. I'll call him back. All right, there's that. This is the wand made by Heidi, which I just, when I was lifting it out, makes me upset. I broke one of the points off. And actually, in moving it down here to North Carolina, I broke another one of the points off. There were 4 of these crystal points. But her name is Heidi, and she made this for me. It's made of alder wood. It's so pretty. It's got some moonstone in it and clear quartz in it. And it's got a little shell at the end. This one I use when I'm channeling. Okay, when I'm channeling, celestial channeling, this is what I use for that, because it really is a good way. And it's got seashells all in it. I love it. This is like my ocean wand. I actually have taken this to the ocean several times and cleansed it in the ocean. And the significance of it being alderwood, which I didn't even know until after I purchased it, was that in Celtic, the Celtic zodiac, their connection is with trees, and I'm an alder. That is what I am. So this is that wand. All right. So then now this is the very first wand I ever got. See, it's got the red, black, and silver on it with little stars on it. This is from this witch's box that I purchased like way back when. So yeah, this is the very first wand I ever got. And then this is my homemade wand. Very simple. Just a branch that I was gifted from the forest, and I wrapped around it. And boom, there it is. And yes, Amanda, it is okay to identify with several types of witches, because I do. I am not just, I am a healing witch, I'm a light witch, I'm a nature witch. Those are the types of witches that I am. Those are the things. I'm also a water witch. I love the purification of water. I love that. I love the elementals. Actually, earth, air, fire, and water. I love all of them. So I just pull in all of that. So I am a healing, light, nature, elemental witch. Like that's what I am. So you definitely can identify with more than one kind of witch. And yeah, I don't think Heidi makes these anymore. She had an Etsy shop where she had all this cool stuff up, her handmade things, and she closed it down. She doesn't do that anymore. But you can very well, if you go on Etsy, it's ETSY, you can find a lot of beautiful homemade wands like this one, and a lot of other homemade goodies that are on there. You just do a thorough Google search and just know where you're going. I recommend Etsy because they're homemade things, and you can actually have a conversation with the owner of the shop, and like custom do things from the owners of the shop. So I do like Etsy. I like going to Etsy for things like wands and things like that, because they can get more personalized. Yes, water is awesome, amazing, great, and swell. Okay, and there goes my mom, because I just declined my stepdad. So now my mom is calling right back to back. I'll get to them in a second. What's up, Sasha? So if there's any more questions, I want to answer your questions. So if anyone has any more questions, please do answer me. Okay, Crystal MC, say sage. You're a sage, boo. I love that. I love that. I love that. And remember, use your intuition in deciding what witch you are, because it's up to you to decide. Oh, my pleasure, darling. My pleasure. My pleasure. Yes, I do like to show them off. And okay, so let me go a little bit more about wands. Yeah, like most witches identify with more than one, okay? Like it's very uncommon that you see a witch who just says she's strictly this type of witch and that's it. Like no, it's we're usually in more than one category. Thank you, Waltree, for saying that. Definitely cleanse anything you get from anywhere. Even if you go to like an occult shop like the Willow Tree shop at the Willingboro Marketplace in Willingboro, New Jersey. Anytime you get any type of sacred tool, this is tarot cards, crystals, wands, anything you get, cleanse it. Make sure you cleanse it, cleanse it, cleanse it. Easy way to cleanse tools is like, okay, with my wands, with cleansing them, just running them over flame, like not close enough that they get burnt, but running them over flame, putting them in the full moon, all right, putting them in, like, in the path of the light of the full moon. That also cleanses things like that. If it's not water soluble, okay, you can just dump it in some salt water. Like, that's, oh, that sucks. I'm sorry, Danielle. Maybe you can catch in for the replay. I'm sorry to hear that, boo-boo. My bad. I didn't do it. I ain't do it. So yeah, so unless there are any more questions, I am going to go ahead and close this video out. I hope it resonated with you. I hope I was able to educate you on what it is to be a witch, so you're not turned off by the term. If you meet a fellow witch, we are beautiful, bright light people. We love to help. We love to be helpful for the most part. There are, of course, dark witches. There are, yeah, that's, if a person practices black magic, it's what they do with that black magic. So there are two sides to that black magic. So someone could, like myself, I learn about black magic rituals so that I can combat it when I see it in someone else. If someone is cursed or hexed or something like that, or has like some type of demon or negative entity on them, I have to know what I'm coming up against so I know how to fix it. They're also, oh, thank you. Appreciate you, Kiki. Kiki, do you love me? Oh, that's funny that that's your tag name. But then there's also witches who do, yes, cleanser candles as well, who put, use black magic for the purposes of doing revenge spells, things like that, cursing, hexing, things like that, which I don't recommend you doing, because like I said, that stuff comes back to you tenfold. You don't want to do that. Yeah, make sure things aren't water soluble. That's why I had to make that point. Like, you don't want to put any type of a calcite or something in water. Like, yeah, make sure it's, as long as it's not water soluble, you can cleanse it in water. Like, your quartzes, selenite, amethyst, tourmaline, those are all good to be cleansed in water, but you don't want to put like a any type of a calcite in water or something like that, because it will melt and then you won't have it anymore, and that defeats the purpose. Like, I would not cleanse this wand in water. This one here is okay to cleanse in water because Heidi had the wherewithal to put this, like, I don't remember what she said. She painted it with something, like it's got a coating on it, so it can very well get wet and it'll be okay. Like, and she baked the clay in there, so like it can get wet and it'll be all right. Like, it's a dip type of wet. Like, if I were to soak this, it would cause damage to the clay that's on there, and I don't want to do that. But dipping it, sprinkling it in water would be okay. Same thing with this one. I would not, this is made of wood, so this I would not cleanse. Like, I didn't cleanse this in water. I cleansed this in fire using salts without water. Also a good way to cleanse, sea salts. You can also cleanse things with other crystals. Like, kyanite is an excellent crystal to cleanse things with. It just sucks up and absorbs negative energy. So tapping your things with kyanite will help to cleanse that. Like, with tarot cards, because you can't put tarot cards in water. They will melt. They're melting. But you can put crystals on top of them and help them cleanse that way. All right. So, all right, let me just make sure I'm not missing anybody. All right, no, I'm not. So thank you all so much for your questions, for your attention. Please do share this video if it resonated with you. I love you all so very much, and I hope you all have a better understanding about what a witch is and am able to identify the witch in you. There's a little bit of witchy in all of us, just a smidge, just a little bit. Embrace it. Embrace that internal rebel. Embrace it. It's beautiful. And remember, harm none. Okay? Harm none. Peace and blessings to all of you. I love you all so much, and I will see you tomorrow afternoon with our daily reading.